Greetings, everyone. This is Neo Cosmos, and I'm here to share information regarding your ancestors, which is your first line of defense. And what I mean by your first line of defense, these are your family members that have been living with you physically and has ascended, or your family members that have been thriving and surviving before you and were given an assignment to watch over specific family members or more so the whole bloodline in your family. So they have the dominion, they have to, how you say, the light or the torch, if you will, to guide you through your, dark times, tumultuous times, hardships, guide you through it, assure that you learn your lesson, assure that you're being put into the right amount of tests so that you could ascend, so you could grow within your path, or just in life in general. So before any of you guys that's on your path, before you decide to give reverence to the Orishas, the angels, High and Grand Council, any other spirits, Veves, Loas, Getes, what have you, right? Because there's so many beings to learn that also could help aid and assist you along your way within this path. It is very, very imperative to have that relationship with your benevolent maternal and maternal ancestors. So therefore, if you don't, it can be problematic. They can put things to a halt. They can slow things down so you could be guided to where you could actually speak and communicate with them to give more clarity and to have more shed more light onto things that you may not be privy about or have any knowledge of, for that matter. Um, or if you're having a little bit of difficulties making certain decisions and discernments, they could help and assist you along the way. But like in my last video, it's very, very imperative to heal the heart space. If you don't heal the heart space, you may have a hard time discerning what your ancestors may be communicating or conveying on to you. So, one of the best ways to give reverence to your ancestors is to assure that you have an ancestor altar. So that means having a cup of water, some flowers. You could have some obituaries that you could use, any pictures you could use. If you don't have any pictures, you could write their names down. Make sure that you also have like a lit candle if possible. You don't have to have the candle lit, how you say, every single week, but make sure that it's done necessary, especially if they're pulling you to it. Now, making to ensure that you have your heart space open, you have to make sure you do your shadow work. As I've mentioned in my previous video, when you do your shadow work, it's a lot more easier. You start to gain a little bit more trust within yourself, which is also another aspect of your healing, is trust, so that you could have assurance with your heart space of what you're actually hearing. Now, your ancestors could speak to you how they speak, how I'm speaking to you right now. They could show you some pictures. They could play a song in your head, a song that the both of you have fond memories with, just to name a few. They could communicate with you in so many awesome ways, but you again have to be present enough to notice and see it, and also have that your heart space open enough for you to receive it properly. Now, if you do not do your shadow work, it's so easy for false light to step in and pretend to be a family member and lead you down the wrong path. Now, what is false light? False light could consist of a spirit that may want to infiltrate and to throw you off on your path, which is also part of source. And what I mean by source is the very most high. Um, the Most High could go by many names, but is also split in between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So I know a source being Ashere, which is the Divine Mother, and Olodumare, which is, I'm sorry, Olodumare, which is the Divine Father. So they could also be referred. They could also be, referred as all the other gods out there. You may have different names that you may call them, but source is, the two of the whole, which is divine masculine, divine feminine. So, having that said, this is all put in by design for you to just assure that you are listening to the right ancestor or the right spirit that you wanted to speak with, because they could easily come in and may sound like, another relative, and it's not that relative. It might be somebody else out there that want to test and see where your heart space is, and to see where you will go with it, and see if you're present enough to discern, this don't sound like my uncle X, Y, and Z, or my auntie, or whoever. So just making sure that you have that in place is very, very imperative on your journey, because your ancestors are going to guide you to the angels, the orishas, any other deities that you may feel have a connection with, or they may come to you in a meditative state, or they may come to you in a dream state or astral state, as I like to call it sometimes. So making sure that you have that solid foundation, that anchor like foundation with your ancestors, because if not, you could easily get pulled into a direction that you never would have thought, all because you weren't present, all because you felt like, oh, I don't have to do this shadow work, oh, this is too much, I'd rather not deal with this right now, oh, that's too heavy for me to deal with, oh, it's making me tired, it's making me feel heavy, oh, I don't want to cry today. Crying is definitely necessary to release all of the necessary pain and traumas from you. Yeah, not to say that it's a one and done situation, but it's definitely a mechanism and a tool that could be implemented for you to release something that does not belong to you, release an experience that doesn't belong to you, release that pain that doesn't belong to you. Once that happens, I guarantee it, you're going to start seeing a much more wider, clearer, more vivid picture of what's going on around you and what is going on within yourself, all at the same time. Your ancestors are also there to help guide you through that as well. So during your shadow work, they could also be used and utilized as your aid and assistance. So if there's something that you're writing down within your shadow work, something really, really painful, something really traumatic, and a person is no longer physically here, and you may not have the discernment or the intuition in your heart space to tap into that and speak to that particular family, that particular ancestor that may hurt you, or an ancestor that you knew in your life that isn't here anymore, that could have assisted you and aided you physically here. You could actually go to your altar and speak to whomever in your altar that you trust, that you want to step in, and it will definitely absolutely guide you along the way. Now, it all starts with you. So if you're not in the mental space to accept and trust that your abilities can actually reach your ancestors, that your heart space have to be open to a space where you could actually reach out to them, and they could ricochet and do the same in return. So you have to make sure that your heart space is in the right place when you do it, because if you come at them with some nonsense, like any other family member that you deal with, you coming at with some nonsense, they might slash some sense into you. Well, they might slash some sense into you spiritually. So that also exists too. So just be on a respectful keel with your ancestors, and it will definitely guide you along the way accordingly. So just keep in mind, take things one step at a time. I'm going to rephrase it again. Just have your ancestor altar ready. You can make your ancestor altar any kind of way that you like, but the primary tools is to make sure that you have some pictures of them, some flowers if possible, some candles, and a glass of water. Anything else you want to add on to the altar, crystals, whatever, you can implement it. You can add it onto there. But if you feel that your ancestors are, you feel that your ancestors may not want that in their space in the altar, because that is also a thing. You could ask them, hey, do you mind if I have this crystal here? Sometimes they'll say, no, I don't want to hear. I want that other crystal, not that crystal in your hand, but I want that other crystal behind you, type of thing. So that also exists. Making sure that you give reverence as far as like any offerings, some food offerings, any kind of offerings you feel that they love, any kind of foods that they love. If you got a family member that likes to drink, give them some gin or something, or some vodka, some dark liquor, whatever that they like, right? Don't leave that offering, like a food offering is concerned. Don't leave food offerings on top of the ancestor altar no longer than 2 days, because it's not good to keep it, to have it spoiled. That's not good energy. If you see the plant or a flower is dying, you remove it and you clean off the altar. But also, if you can have like a how you say, a white tablecloth. But if you don't have any white tablecloths, that's okay. Just make sure that you wipe everything down, you keep it clean, wash it off with some Florida water, some soap, but not that heavy soap. Just make sure that it's orderly, because if not, that's when false light can step into. Just the food for thought. And as I've mentioned before, they are here to assist and aid and guide you along the way when it comes down to you healing yourself and getting on your path. That is mainly the reason why they're also around, and making sure that they're present for you, just to make sure that you're getting through what you need to get through. So that's my quick video. That's not so quick, yeah, because it's about to be 13 minutes, and that's actually one of my favorite numbers. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. I have some nice dragon's blood smoking right now, so that's what you see across the screen. So if you have any other questions, any other concerns, you comment below if you like. But I hope to see you guys again soon. And once again, I also sell crystals, copper wrap crystals. So this is a melanite crystal that I copper wrap myself. So you could once again find me, shameless plug, on my own channel, NeoCosmos999 on Instagram and TikTok. And I'll see y'all soon. All right, Ashe.